Emma Caldwell was a CEO before she was 35. Sharp, disciplined, and endlessly composed, she had built a logistics tech company from nothing and turned it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Her life was meetings, forecasts, airports, and polished control. Love, she believed, was something that happened neatly or not at all. Then she met Daniel Harper. Daniel worked at a small public high school outside the city. He coached track, taught history, and spent weekends fixing bikes and helping his 10-year-old son with science projects. He never asked about Emma's company beyond polite curiosity. He didn't care about titles or money. He listened. When Emma spoke, he really listened. That alone felt like relief. Daniel's past, as he told it, was simple. Married young. Wife passed away unexpectedly. Left the military after a few years and chose a quieter life for his son, Lucas. No social media, no clutter, no hunger for more. Emma believed him because she wanted to. Because calm felt safe. They married quickly, quietly. No gala. No press. Just a ceremony by the lake, Lucas holding the rings with shaking hands and tears in his eyes. Emma thought she had found peace. What she didn't realize was that peace sometimes hides storms beneath it. The challenges began small. Daniel startled easily at sudden noises. He insisted on sitting where he could see entrances. He woke some nights drenched in sweat, breath shallow, eyes distant. When Emma asked, he would smile softly and say, "Just bad dreams." Emma accepted that. Everyone carried shadows. But then came the layoffs. A hostile competitor began bleeding Emma's company dry. Contracts mysteriously failed. Trucks were delayed. Data leaked. Legal pressure mounted. Emma did what she always did, she worked harder. Slept less. Trusted no one. Daniel noticed everything. One evening, after Emma collapsed onto the couch with her laptop still open, Daniel knelt in front of her, took her hands, and said quietly, "Someone is targeting you. This isn't random." Emma froze. "How would you know that?" "Because patterns don't lie," he replied. She stared at him. It was the first crack. The real fracture came 3 weeks later. The knock at the door was firm. Controlled. Not aggressive, not casual. Daniel was in the kitchen. He stopped moving instantly. Emma opened the door. 3 men stood there. All clean-cut. All alert. All entirely out of place in their quiet neighborhood. "We're looking for Commander Harper," one said. Daniel stepped into view. His posture changed in an instant. His shoulders straightened. His gaze hardened, alert and precise. He didn't ask questions. "Yes," he said. "That's me." Emma's heart began to race. They spoke briefly. Low voices. Efficient words. Daniel nodded once. Then he turned to Emma. "I need to talk to you," he said. They sat at the kitchen table after the men left. Daniel didn't soften his voice this time. "My name is Daniel Harper," he said. "But before that, I was known as Commander James Rowan. Special Operations. 13 years. Classified missions. Strategic Command." Emma didn't speak. She couldn't. He continued. "I didn't tell you because I left that life to protect my son. And because I wanted something real. I wanted to be just." "Daniel. You lied to me," Emma finally said. "Yes," he replied calmly. "And I'm sorry." That night, Emma didn't sleep. She felt betrayed. Not because he had been a soldier, but because he had chosen silence. Her entire career was built on truth, transparency, accountability. And the men she trusted most had kept an entire life hidden. The next weeks were hell. Emma pulled away. Conversations became formal. Daniel gave her space, but the house felt heavier, not quieter. Then Lucas was followed home from school. Nothing happened. But Daniel noticed the car. That night, Daniel laid out Emma's situation in ruthless clarity. The sabotage wasn't corporate rivalry. It was military-grade interference. Someone was using private contractors with intelligence backgrounds. And they're watching you now, he said. Fear replaced anger. Daniel contacted people Emma would never meet. Phones rang that never showed numbers. Meetings happened that never appeared on calendars. And slowly, the pressure lifted. Evidence surfaced. Contracts stabilized. The competitor vanished under investigation. Emma watched her husband transform. Not into a weapon, but into a leader. He was calm under pressure. Clear. Protective without being possessive. Strategic without being cold. One night, after Lucas was asleep, Emma broke. I don't know where I fit in your world, she whispered. Daniel took her hands, grounding her like he always had. You fit because you chose me when I had nothing to offer but honesty about who I was becoming, he said. I didn't hide my past because I was ashamed. I hid it because I didn't want it to become my identity again. And me? Emma asked. Am I just collateral now? No, he said firmly. You're the reason I stayed human. The final challenge came when Emma's board demanded answers. Rumors spread. Whispers about Daniel's background. Fear crept in among investors. Emma stood before them and made the hardest decision of her career. She told the truth. Not about operations. Not about classified missions. But about character. She spoke about trust, integrity, and leadership under pressure. About a man who walked away from power to raise a child with kindness. About choosing humility over glory. They listened. The vote passed. Emma kept her company. Daniel kept his family. Years later, people would say Emma Caldwell married a hero. But Emma knew better. She married a man who knew how to survive chaos and still choose love. The man who had once commanded soldiers now helped with homework and packed lunches. The man who had carried secrets learned how to share them. The lesson wasn't about hidden strength. It was about choosing truth when fear would have been easier. And about understanding that sometimes, the strongest people aren't the loudest ones. They're the ones who step away from war and choose to stay.